Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video we're gonna basically find the local max and min of this given function over here. Okay, and this is basically like the part 2 of this video, because in my previous video I basically showed you guys how to figure out the critical points, the increasing decreasing function. I have talked about the whole steps and everything in details into my previous video. So if you guys haven't checked out that video, make sure to watch it out by clicking on this I button over here. Okay, so let's start with this video. Okay, so this is basically the part 2 of the video. Okay, so now what we're doing is of course our first step basically is to differentiate the expression. Okay, so we're going to find our g prime of x. Okay, so g of x is basically given as x plus 2 sine of x. So what's the derivative of x? That's basically a 1, and 2 sine of x, 2 is a constant, stays over there. And what's the derivative of sine x? That's basically a cosine x. Okay, so we have basically differentiated our expression, and the next step is basically to figure out the critical points. And how do we figure out the critical points? We basically make the derivative equals to 0. Okay, so I'm making my derivative equals to 0. Okay, so now because I'm trying to figure out the x points where my tangent line is basically going to be 0. Okay, so that is basically what the derivative is your critical point is telling you. Okay, so now I am just going to move it to the other side. So I have 2 cosine of x and then -1, and then this 2 can also be moved to the other side. So because it's multiplying over here, so we move it to the other side, that's going to divide. So I have this one over here. Okay, so to solve for this one, you basically have to look at the unit circle. Okay, so I have this picture of this over here, so I'm just gonna pull this up. So, okay, so I have this. You're just gonna look at this one. I just took it from the internet. Okay, so the website that I took it from, as you guys can see, that it says math is fun. I took it from this website. Okay, this is not my own picture. Okay, so from here you guys can see that if we go ahead and check, so here this basically says that cosine of x and sine of x. Okay, so all the first point that you guys see over here is basically corresponds to cosine, and the second one basically corresponds to sine. Okay, so and we are trying to figure out for which our cosine is basically going to be equals to -1. Okay, so where do I see basically my cosine as -1? Okay, so I know this one basically represents cosine, so that means I have the one of them here. I just figured out over here, -1/2. Okay, and what about the next one? Well, the next one is basically over here. So I just figured out 2 points where my cosine is -1/2. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and report the angles for them. So I know the angle that is representing this one is basically 120 over here. So I have this as 120, and the angle that is representing this one is basically 240. Okay, and I have to write this in radians. Okay, so you're basically going to convert your degree into radians. Okay, so you have your 120 degrees. You're basically going to convert it into radians by multiplying by pi over 180. So you're just going to be left with 120 pi over 180. Okay, so then you're gonna end up having 2 pi over 3. Okay, so that is basically your first x value. Okay, and what about your second x value? So you're just gonna do the same thing over here, multiply by pi over 180. Okay, so you have 240. So you have your 240 pi over 180. Okay, so then this is gonna give you 4 pi over 3. So this is your x value. So you get 2 x values here, x1 as 2 pi over 3 and x2 basically as 4 pi over 3 from this unit circle over here. So I hope that makes sense. This is how you're going to figure out your critical points. Okay, so once you have your critical points, what is your next step? Well, the next step that you do is basically make the intervals. Okay, so I have, so here from -infinity, okay, so this is basically my grid over here. Okay, so here these are values from -infinity to +infinity. Okay, so where I have my critical point is basically I have first one at 2 pi over 3, and the second one I have it as 4 pi over 3. Okay, and the interval that is given to me is not from -infinity to +infinity. So the interval is basically from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so I have it from 0 to 2 pi, not from -infinity to +infinity. So my interval is basically from 0 to 2 pi only. This is what we have to consider. Okay, so these are basically my intervals over here. So my first interval, as you guys can see, is basically from 0 to 2 pi over 3, and this one is not gonna be included over here. Okay, because critical points we never include them. And the second interval that I have is between these two guys, okay, so these two numbers. And the third interval that I have is gonna be from 4 pi over 3 to 2 pi. Okay, so I have broken down my intervals into 3. So once I have those here, so now I basically go ahead and choose any value between this interval. So any value from here, one value from here, one value from here, but it doesn't have to be these two guys, because these two guys are not included in the interval, they're excluded. So you have to choose within this interval whatever exists inside. Okay, so you can choose any value. So let's go ahead and choose pi over 3 here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose pi over 3, and now I'm gonna have to put it into the inside, into the derivative of the function, not the original function. Okay, so pi over 2, so I'm going to put it inside the derivative of the expression. Okay, so in this case that's not f, in this case here we have g. Okay, so we're going to have to put it in g prime. Okay, so we're gonna have to put it inside this function over here and not this function over here. And why do we have to put it in the derivative on not the original function? Well, like I've explained in my previous video, because g prime, the first derivative, the sign of that is basically gonna tell you whether your function is basically increasing or decreasing. That will allow you to figure out your local max and min. So that is why it's important to figure out to put your value in the derivative and not the original function, because that is what's gonna give you the sign of the slope of the tangent line. And if you go ahead and put it into the original function, that basically represents a y value and it does not mean anything. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put that in. So if you go ahead and put this into the derivative that you just figured out, 1 plus 2 cosine of x, okay, that was the derivative that you figured out. If you go ahead and put this in pi over 2, so you're basically gonna get a positive value over here. And what does your positive value tell you? Well, because you got positive as the slope of the tangent line, that basically means that your function is basically increasing at this interval. Okay, so you know that your function is basically increasing here. So we're just gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing over here. We're gonna choose any value in the middle. So let's go ahead and choose pi. So if we go ahead and choose pi, so here if you go ahead and plug it into the g prime of x, we basically get a negative value. That basically tells me that the function is decreasing. Okay, so I know that the function is increasing over here, and I know that after here my function is gonna decrease. Okay, so it went from increasing to it went from increasing to decreasing. So that means, what do I have at the top? Well, I'm gonna have a local max. That means, okay, because I'm going from max to min, so of course I'm gonna have a local max at the critical point. Okay, which is basically the critical point at x equals to 2 pi over 3. Okay, so now I have this. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same approach over here. So now I'm gonna choose any value from here. So let's say I'm gonna choose 3 pi over 2. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose this and plug it into my original function and see what is the value that I get. Okay, so I'm gonna end up getting a number, and I'm gonna look at the sign of that number. So the sign of that number is basically gonna be positive, and because I get a positive value, so that means my function is basically increasing. And since I know my function is increasing and before it was decreasing, okay, so I know that my function is decreasing, and after that it's gonna increase. Okay, so decreasing to increasing, that means, what do I have over here? So that means I'm basically gonna have a local min over here. Okay, so you're gonna have a local min. Okay, so these are basically your minimum and your maximum over here. So you can go ahead and write your final answer at local max at x equals to 2 pi over 3, and you can go ahead and basically, this time put it into the original expression and figure out your actually y value for that. So that basically gonna give you 3.83, and your local min basically exists at x equals to 4 pi over 3. Okay, so this was the critical point that we had. Okay, x equals to 4 pi 3, and this was the local min that we have. And if you go ahead and plug this into the original function, so 2 pi over 3, that basically ends up giving you 2.46, and that basically completes your answer. And thanks for watching. Bye.